listening later on when these actually went live. So that is the date for today's show. I will be your host as always, since this is my channel and my show. I get to do the host duties, um, and I'll do my best to not stumble through this too much. My beautiful bride is over in her producer's chair, so she's out there holding it down in the comments. If you are out there watching us live right now, we want those comments. So we want to know that you're out there. We want to know what you have to say. Any questions, we can field those as long as they pertain to the conversation at hand, or any rabbit holes that the host chooses to steer us down through. But we want to know you're there, and if you're new to the show, we want to know where you're watching from or listening from. You can do that in the comments on the whatever platform you are listening from. But otherwise, if you need to get a hold of us, you can just send us an email to sandhillsmediaempire@gmail.com. Trust me, we're not conceited. I might have made that up. All right. Other announcements real quick. We want you to go check out the Self-Defense Radio Network. We're very proud to have been included in that list of really great shows. Most of them in just regular podcast form. So you can go over there and find all those great shows. And as Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio likes to say, you can just binge listen to your heart's content, darling. So go check that out at sdrn.us or selfdefense.net, I believe is the other website that will take you there. Tonight's show is brought to you by Sandhills Defense, the firearms instruction company that we started here a little over a year ago. So if you're in Northeast Nebraska and you want to take some classes, we've got all kinds of offerings. Go check them out on the website, sandhillsdefense.com. If you want to reach out directly, you can call or text 402-851-0726. Go follow us and like us on Facebook. And there is even a group of Sandhills Defense students and people that are interested in them. So you can go join that Facebook group as well. So go check that out. Very proud to have a company now that I can sponsor my own show with and not have to ask others to do so. And last but certainly not least, the views and opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the individual expressing them and do not reflect the views of any of the other guests or the hosts necessarily, or any sponsors. We are not offering any legal advice, no medical advice, which is very important with this ultra serious topic that we have for you tonight. So I'm glad you are all here. I'm glad that you are all with us tonight. So let's bring in our panel of experts. And we may have one or two more popping in as we go along. But we have got Travis P11 and Pat in a Bunker with us tonight. So if you're not new to the show, these are some familiar faces, familiar voices. But how you guys doing?
Unmuting, checking in, doing good. Feels good to be kind of a resident zombie apocalypse expert. You know, I've been prepping for this. Everything I needed to learn about the zombie apocalypse, I learned in Walking Dead season 1. So
okay,
doing good, man. Yep,
that's good to know.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yep. We'll have to bring that stuff up.
Absolutely.
That's the only season that I watched, and I don't
Same
remember
here.
if I even caught. I don't remember if I even caught all of that. So, all right, who do we have out there? Over on the Rumble side, we've got Jeff checking in from St. Ed, Nebraska. He says, "Hey, Travis and Pat,
Come on, brother,
and good evening, everyone." And then over on comments, let's see, on the
fellow Nebraska taxpayer,
yeah, on the Facebook side, we've got Michael joining us after a couple weeks from missing the show, so he's back in here again. And that might be it right now on the Facebook side. On YouTube, we've got Kingpin Gun Websites. Blitz is out there. Patriot in the Dark, who is only here to stare at Sandhills Sweetheart, and I don't blame him. She's beautiful. Let's see. Travis is out there and in here. Of course, Sandhills Sweetheart's in the chat because you know how this works. If you've been here before, she does the typing and I do the talking. I can't talk while I type, and I can't type while I talk. Woods is out there, and that might be it. Keith Umstead is out there as well. Jamie Brown, I see you. All right, so keep on getting those comments in there, and we're not going to call everybody out. We'll get into stuff here, but make sure that, again, you are dropping those comments. It helps the overlords at Google and the YouTubes lets them know that you actually are participating. Same thing with Facebook. Rumble, I don't know how the metrics work yet, or the analytics, but I'm sure it does help. The more comments, the more likes, or rumbles, I think they call them, when you push that thumbs up or push that little boxing glove or whatever to promote it. I think it does make a difference. It gets over there into the trending or the featured or whatever over there on the feed. So very cool for that stuff. All right, so tonight I told you it's a super serious topic that I think everybody needs to be aware of. This is something that maybe isn't as widely discussed as really what it should be, and so you're in for I think a great discussion. It should be very educational and hopefully entertaining as well. So very edutaining. I think edutainment is the word that has been coined for that. So, but the super serious topic, if you have not paid attention to the title for the show or the description, we're going to talk about the dreaded zombie outbreak, because you never know when that's going to happen. Now, there are some people, let's just get the elephant in the room addressed right away. There are some people who legit believe that this could happen. Okay. If you are one of those people, you are probably going to be very disappointed tonight by the way that we treat this topic, because it's all in fun. None of us here actually believe. I shouldn't speak now if I'm wrong. You feel free to correct me, panelists. But
hey now,
none of us
hey now.
believe that zombies are going to be a real thing that we're ever going to have to deal with. Okay. Michael Jackson aside, I mean, there's some great stuff out there, but we're having fun here. But I do want to turn serious at the end, and I'm going to give you some honest, real life advice if this stuff ever actually does happen. So I'm going to tell you how to prepare for it in earnest. But you're going to have to wait till the end of the show, because I want you to stick around and listen to the whole thing. So I'm not going to give up the goods early, right? That's how. I don't want this to be clickbait, because we're still going to talk about zombies. But I did mention in the description of tonight's episode that I'm going to give you the goods. I'm going to tell you everything you really need to know if zombies become a real life thing. In the meantime, we're going to have some fun talking about this, because there's so many shows out there. And we could probably fill up our time just by going through and listing all of the movies, TV shows, books, comics, graphic novels. I don't know what all is out there. Music videos, obviously. That one, I don't know the name of the song, but the video sure was a thriller. A joke. That was a joke. Anybody out there, feel free to put ha 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 in the comments if you thought that was funny. Okay, so Travis, we'll start with you. You already said that you're the resident expert on at least season 1 of The Walking Dead.
Yes.
What other zombie movies, TV shows, where else do you have experience or any knowledge based in any lore?
Growing up watching Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead movies. I remember watching Night of the Living Dead in black and white. I think I had a VHS copy of it when I was in grade school. We'd always sit around and watch scary movies. My friends and I would do that. Of course, you weren't really thinking zombie apocalypse at that point. You were so wrapped up in the story of the characters and stuff.
Right.
Did watch a really good one last summer. It was a Canadian Netflix zombie series called Black Summer.
Okay.
And that was, a lot of people missed it. It was very good. It was very Games of Thrones-esque, where they would kill off main characters every episode. Like there'd be people they'd run into, they'd be with you for 5 or 6 episodes, and boop, they're gone. Like they literally just drop them left and right. Story about a mom and her daughter, and they're trying to get to a stadium for an extraction. Of course, that's the worst place you can go when there's a zombie apocalypse, right? That's a big salad bowl, and everything's hungry trying to eat there,
Lots of entrances too.
And so that series was really cool to watch because it was different. It wasn't super popular, but it was good. It was very well done. Good storyline. It covers over 12 months of them trying to survive. And then another good one, the book World War Z was awesome. The movie, the book was awesome because every chapter was a different story, and they could have done a series where every chapter was an episode. And it was kind of interesting. I think they mentioned Nebraska as one of the best places to be because of the number of people that have guns and all the wide open spaces you could see zombies coming at you, where you wouldn't get that in urban areas. But they said initially Nebraska was really bad because I-80 was a feeding zone because of all the cars that ran into each other, all the accidents that happened across our state drew in a huge population of zombies. But the people in like the north and the plains and the open areas actually survived. The rural people did, because they could see and they had the guns to defend themselves against it. And it was interesting. It's a good book. The book is probably pushing 15 years old by now, but it's very well written. And
it's a very good book.
It's a cool book.
The movie, was that Brad Pitt that was in that one?
Yeah, and I don't think there was any other than the name and maybe like the origin of the story. I think that the movie was maybe one of the chapters expanded, but the book it's a very quick read. Every chapter is like 10 or 15 pages or something like that. It's very quick. It's cool. It's an awesome book. Yeah.
It's funny that they mention how flat Nebraska is, because there's really not that many parts of Nebraska that are flat. But if you've ever been up to South Dakota, it's pretty much
open area. I mean, you can stay on top of a grain elevator and see for 100 miles.
If you've been on I-90 from pretty much from Sioux Falls to Wall, you've seen some flat country out there. A little bit when you get down to the Missouri River hills, and then you're back to flat again. So it's funny that everybody thinks Nebraska's flat till you actually see some flat country. Let's see, out there we've got a few people that are already talking about their tactics. Michael says closest we get in real life, a rabies virus that could be spread through air and water droplets. Still follows the canon of having been bitten. And then a little bit later, he says in the movies, headshots are the gold standard, but in real life, whatever drops the blood pressure the quickest is probably good if his knowledge of high school anatomy serves him well. So The Walking Dead or Hollywood Zombies 22 and headshots, tons of capacity. You can haul a ton of ammo around for the weight. In real life, most likely his Glock in 9mm. So that would make sense. Again, though, I mean, you're going to have to lay in a stock of ammo because, even if the one shot doesn't stop it. Now, Pat, I've got some questions that I want to dig into some of this stuff, but we'll give you a chance to, besides The Walking Dead, what else do you have to draw your knowledge from?
Oh man, too many movies and too many books. Travis already said a bunch of good ones. I do have the World War Z book, and very, very good book on that. And in all seriousness, this is just kind of a fun topic, but it gets the guy to thinking about what to actually prepare for in other disaster scenarios. I mean, really, it really just it's made to make you think and what and if different things you might need in an actual crisis versus, an actual zombie apocalypse. But getting back to the movies and the books, oh God, when I was younger, I used to watch and read a bunch of that stuff. There's a bunch of online stuff that kind of obscure stuff that I can't even remember. Watch too much to remember. But no, it's definitely some different tactics and stuff will go into this. This is going to be a good topic tonight. So
Woods out there says that Black Summer was good. Let's see. He also says The Last of Us is good. Terrible gun handling and tactics, but the show itself is apparently watchable. Richard over on Pat's feed says anything George A. Romero. What, Attack of the Vegan Zombies? Is that a thing? Like all we want to do is eat your hay?
I made a joke about that a long time ago, didn't I? I think I made a joke about that on like one of Matt's shows or something, where it was like people eat something soy and it turns them into zombies. And, there was something about it that I did. Or
maybe they eat something Soylent Green.
It's made from people.
It's people. Although what is that? Soylent Green, is that one of the energy drinks? I've seen that somewhere.
There's somebody selling a soy, which I'll never do just because after reading the book, I can never bring myself to drink it.
And every time I see that, I run screaming because
it's like no.
The thought of it, just the very thought. And those of you that are under 40, you're gonna have to Google Charlton Heston and Soylent Green and see what that's all about.
Hey, so what's Pat saying about, learning about the situation and preparing for disaster and stuff? You learn a lot about the psychology of human beings from watching those shows, because it's so funny that the world's falling apart, yet if we all banded together and made a stand against these things, we'd survive. Instead, it's like me first, got to feed my family, gonna shoot you. That's what all Walking Dead ever was just roving groups of bandits and tribes and groups instead of warring together or getting together and stockpiling what they have to make this final push against the evil so they can live their lives. They'll want to just kill each other. I mean, it's like I never understood that mentality.
Was doing with the baseball bat wrapped with the barbed wire. I thought he was kind of leaving people.
Yeah, he was. But remember, whenever they would capture a group, he'd always have to make an example by killing one of them. Basically, that was kind of how he would. Yeah, he was. But there were so many groups of people where it's like they'd rather just shoot you and take your stuff instead of trying to work together.
I said, I don't remember if I even saw the end of season 1, let alone I never watched any of the rest of it. I'm just, you can't live a life and have social media and not know about like Negan and some of those.
Yeah.
But other than that, not a thing that I know much about. So the regular kind of zombies go after brains. G-Web says the vegan zombies go after grains.
They go after grains.
So
we're in a lot of trouble in Nebraska. We better get the heck out of here, man.
So Wood says, but people are terrible, Travis.
This is true. It's like it would make sense to work together to defend yourselves against others, and but no, let's just go ahead and stay in our little pack of 2 or 3 and get taken out by a bigger pack, and then they get taken out by a bigger pack instead of learning,
Oh, so. Richard says that Vegan Zombies is a real movie. It was an independent movie that they actually made. That is so awesome. I kind of want to know what that's about. So that's one of the questions I want to talk about. So I know that like there's this, everybody talks about the zombies are going to come eat your brains, right? Because they want brains. And I don't understand why, first of all. But aren't there some shows out there where they just literally, they'll eat any part of you?
Any human or something. Yeah. That's the original.
They'll go for a neck bite, right? So if the zombie wants your brains, they're going to start chewing through your cranium. They're not going to go for a neck bite or, an arm or a leg or whatever. But of course, any bite's going to transfer the virus or whatever. I guess everybody kind of treats it like a virus. I think in most of the shows, it's just the only way that we can really explain it, unless you just don't explain it and it just happens. But no kidding. You okay over there, Pat?
That was me. It was my little bread loaf over there was. I want food now, and I knocked my food bowl over.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, Richard's feeling me here. It makes no sense that zombies go after brains. They can't make more of their own kind. So that's really what I want to get down to is, do they have a hunger for brains or just living flesh of any kind? I mean, that's something that we're going to have to prepare for, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a thought that people need to be thinking about as we go through here. But again, now let's talk about the actual way to kill a zombie. Because I mean, what Michael said earlier, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, if this is an actual zombie, it doesn't have a heartbeat, right? So taking out the pump station won't do anything because the pump's already not running. And I think, and this seems to be kind of universal, zombies happen when dead flesh gets somehow reanimated, electrical impulses get reintroduced somehow, or there's, not so much frontal lobe brain activity, but at least brainstem activity or hind or midbrain activity. And so Wood says it's a fungus, not a virus in The Last of Us. So I guess I really want to know, like, are we going to find a general consensus on the way to kill a zombie is to take out the brain?
That's typical, or even if you decapitate, like, the head's still alive. You have to shut down the neurological system by putting something through the brain.
Like, destroy the brain. So
yeah,
so
or put something through it. Yeah,
the 22 long rifle. Now, is that going to do it?
I would think so. If it can penetrate the skull, then I think that's what you need to do. Yeah.
I don't know how, because I mean, the flesh is rotting, but do the bones get brittle? Because a 22 is not ideal for a headshot. I mean, it's even
if the rifle wouldn't have the velocity that you need, though, I'd have to go back and watch the Grand Theft video.
I mean, there's so many instances out there of people that get shot in the head and the bullet doesn't penetrate into their, the front, their frontal lobe or whatever. It'll glance off the skull or whatnot. I'm not saying that you can survive a headshot, right? But I am saying that a lot of people do. because of that. So it's not. I don't think it's a consistent way to do if you don't have a high-powered rifle of some sort. Or
Well, okay, but like
or
in
a
The Walking
shotgun at
Dead, they
close
use a
range.
knife. You know, they use a knife in the head, and that does it, or some kind of a spear, you know, through
Right.
the head, and it doesn't necessarily like cut something in half, but that seems to be all it takes is some sort of disruption in the brain, and that basically ends it. Now, who knows what our situation? That's why I
Yeah.
was thinking the same thing. I was like, okay, I had Ruger 1022 and like 4
Well,
800-round bricks, and you
that's-
basically got, you know.
Blitz asks, "You really think the bone density would be good in a zombie, though?" I don't know.
Well, look at
I don't know,
skeletons that
because
are
what
thousands of
happens
years
with
old.
with
You
a
know, look at
decomposing corpse? I mean, those bones take a while to lose their density, right? I mean, the skin and muscle is going to go first, and then nice.
Speedy loader.
Oh, I thought you were grabbing like an antler or something. I don't know what I was looking at there. I was like,
Yeah,
what
no,
is
that's
it?
a 22
No.
speed loader.
Ah, okay.
Yep,
Okay.
22 speed loader for the old Henry sitting back there with some
For
really
a
hot
there you
tubular
go.
mag 22.
Yep.
Those are
Most
cool.
of-
I need to get one. I can't put it on screen, but Jeff over on the Rumble side says his 44 will do the job. Yes, I believe it will. There's plenty of energy there to to penetrate the skull and scramble the brain up. But I think that's kind of what we need to figure out is, you know, what is the general consensus? What's the minimum caliber for scrambling zombie brains, you know?
Well, if 22 LR is going to work, that's it, because you can carry so much of it with so little. A brick of it would give you 800 rounds. It would weigh, you know, about as much as like 200 rounds of
okay,
23, right?
And that's cool, but what if
Mhm.
I need, you know, what's that Henry hold? 15?
No, BX25s and a 1022.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a bunch of
Henry-
them, man.
That
Henry
Henry's
holds
got
15?
15 in the tube, but let's say that you got to put 10 of them in each zombie. So number one, you've got to work that lever and fire 10 rounds. Now you can do that quickly, and from a medium distance, you know, you can do that fairly accurately. But then that's 10 rounds per zombie, and you've got 1.5 zombie in your gun. You know, so I mean, how efficient is that 22 going to be if you have to put that many rounds into the brain
Right.
just to scramble it?
Exactly. And that's something a person, and I don't know how exactly I would do it, but that is something that needs further testing as far as on bone density, what kind of round you would need to actually penetrate the skull, especially in the T zone. If you're doing a full frontal on shot now from the back, it's a little bit easier because you can just aim right at the brainstem, right at the back, but you know,
But
most
you have
of
to
the
be a
horde
good shot.
coming right towards you. Yep.
You've got to miss that occipital bone, because that's the thickest part of that. That's one of the
Yep.
thickest bones in the whole body.
And you're running semi buckhorn sights. Good luck hitting anything. Okay. Let's just say that right now. Much less something the size of a cantaloupe.
No
100
buckhorns.
yards. All right.
No buckhorns on that one. No.
Okay. Okay. Well,
No.
I'm gone. But if the 22 would work, that would be the way to go. A nice
makes me
Ruger
wonder about
10
that
22.
stuff, right?
If it would. Yeah, if it would. Yeah, for sure.
Where did it
But-
go? I missed. Krabby Turtle is over there on Pat's feed, says 223. He's not talking about he's just talking to.
Okay, so let's talk about this, John. What would be everybody's primary rifle of choice then? Let's just say let's say we're all gonna have a 1022. We're all gonna have a 1022 because we need that to dispatch zombies. What about the bigger, larger threat, which is the human being that's alive, the sentient beings? What's going to be the rifle of choice from that kind of a situation?
Well, I don't know though, because I'm not convinced. I'm not signing off on the 1022. I'm not convinced that it's.
No, I'm saying for human beings though, if you had to defend yourself against.
I am not convinced that 1022 is any good for zombies.
Okay, well then let's just throw it out the window. What would be your primary rifle then?
I honestly, I'm not convinced that 22 is going to be good enough in a zombie outbreak, because those things don't typically walk around in ones or twos. You know, you've got a horde of them, and I'm going to need something with fast reloads that I can do a one shot. You know, I might miss a couple times, but I only need one hit to disable the brain, right? But it's got to have enough power to completely scramble the brain, because I don't want to poke a little 22 caliber hole through the brain, right? I want there to be a permanent wound cavity there that messes up the brain beyond function on a zombie. And so that's what we're looking for here is, you know, what should people have? I mean, yeah, that 44 is going to do it. Michael's out there being all scientific. There has to be an equation of range at which you're confident in a headshot. Outside of that line, is it not better to run or speed walk away?
Mhm.
Yes, unless you're with Ving
Get on
Rhames.
one of Pat's 3-wheelers and just drive off.
Yeah, if you're with Ving Rhames, you're gonna have to run fast because those zombies could move. But if he's
And
not
that
around,
also depends on the type of zombies, because in World War Z they were like high power turbocharged, and even in like Black Summer they were fast running or walking. They weren't just like dragging themselves along, like the old.
Well, and I have a theory on that. I honestly have a theory on that, and I've actually thought that through. I think there's going to be a sliding scale of zombies depending on temperature, depending on how long they've been dead, on how fast they're going to be, because pump station shut down. That's your hydraulic fluid. Everything's going to start stiffening up. Everything's going to start rotting away. Eventually, that zombie, especially in a higher temperature environment, is going to start deteriorating and slowing down a lot faster than, let's say, up in the Dakotas during the spring. And depending on what time of year you get into the wintertime, guess what? If over the half of the population or a small part of the population could survive the zombie horde, and let's say the upper 2/3 of the United States goes through winter, they're going to freeze up and zombie apocalypse.
Well, they had mentioned that in World War Z they freeze and then they unthaw in the springtime, but they were slow moving because they were still thawing out. So that was the best time to take them out, was the wintertime or the spring, basically. So yeah.
Right. So Woods wants to know why we assume only humans are zombies. What about zombie bears? Yeah. What about
zombie squirrels?
What about the zombie Dobermans from Resident Evil?
Zombie prairie dogs? They're really gonna be mad.
And not even getting into the genetic mutations that happened in Resident Evil, just the actual, the reanimated corpses. But the Dobermans were there too.
Your little beta fish
with their little spaghetti suits that they put on them. That was so. If you've ever seen the making of that or seen the extras on like the DVD from the first Resident Evil movie, it was so cool the way they dressed up those dogs. Basically, they put them in little bodysuits that, and then it was like actual pasta, like spaghetti that was like dripping off of them coming out of those suits. It was pretty neat. So the dogs loved it. No dogs were hurt in the filming of that movie, that's for sure. Defense Dad says brains. We need brains. Yeah, he wants to know, what about zombie cocaine bear? That's cocaine bear is something we should probably have a discussion about at some point too. Is a 44 Magnum going to be enough cocaine bear medicine? But
you're going to need a 500 something.
That's
or
not
another
tonight, right?
Yeah.
We don't have time for cocaine bear tonight. Plus, I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, so I don't know. Is it out yet?
J-Dam.
I don't know. That's one that we all need to go see. I think that's gonna be the summer movie to go see right there. So
that one looks so terribly good.
It looks awesome. It looks great. Americans, we need a nice injection of just stupidity. That's what we need. 4/14 is when it comes out, baby. Looks like it's gonna be streaming. Is it gonna be streaming?
Is it? Is it coming out like on HBO Max or something?
Streaming only on Peacock, 4/14. So there you go.
Oh,
yeah.
It's not a theatrical release. Well, I might have to get Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Richard says 556 will be the way to go for both living and non-living. I'm not going to disagree. I think that might be something centerfire, and probably the 556 or 223 is going to be like the baseline, I think. Now in a handgun, I'm going to say it's going to have to be a Magnum. It's going to have to be like the 357 Magnum or the 40 caliber Magnum that Travis loves so much. Your high point's going to come in handy because when you run out of ammo, you can start clubbing zombies and just crush their brains.
I was going to say go with a Glock 19 because you got to think parts down the road. If you're going to survive this thing and you wear your gun out or you're going to break it or lose it or something, you're going to need another one. And what other gun are you going to find more of than probably some sort of a Glock just based off the sheer sales?
And you should also follow Clint Smith's school of logic. Whenever he buys a new gun, he buys 3 of it.
True.
So that,
there you go.
So that he's got, when one breaks down, he's got another one to use and then one for parts. So, because what Clint Smith always says that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, right? So, that guy's kind of redundant.
Definitely gonna have to go with probably an AR just because of, again, parts proliferation and the common caliber that you're gonna most likely find if you go into any home. The chances of you finding
now, I would say that because I don't know about the 9mm. We'd have to see. And I'd have to see some zombie testing before I'd put stake my life on it. But now some of these pistol calibers in a rifle, a 9mm PCC or a 357 lever gun, I would think 38 would scream out of that, with enough energy.
Oh yeah, you're going to gain a couple hundred
for a
feet per
zombie,
second,
right?
easy. Yeah.
Yep.
So some of that stuff. I mean, again, the thing is with those lever guns, you don't get a fast reload. So again, you're going to have to get some practice in now, while zombies are still a scientific impossibility. Just in case the laws of science and physics ever change, you'll be prepared. Defense Dad says watch party. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to doing an online watch party with Cocaine Bear. We may have to look into
That would be epic. That would be fun.
Some weekend that I don't have anything else going on. That would be badass. He also says that Clint Smith has more money than he does. Yeah, makes sense too.
Yeah, but that's kind of like what you were talking about, John. That's kind of going back to the old cowboy adage, having one round for your rifle and your handgun.
That's not a bad idea.
So that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's not, because just like what Travis alluded to, what was it, out of the 9mm carbine, depending on the grain, you can pick up 200 feet per second on a carbine over the pistol. So
which ends up being like an extra 90 pounds of energy too on the back end.
And then I mean, what the veterans always say really comes back into play there. Your pistol is there so that you can fight your way to your rifle, right? Because if there is a crowd of zombies, you're going to want your rifle, right? But your pistol at the very least is an option to get you out of a tight spot to get back to your rifle. Although, again, I'm going to recommend this. I don't care what rifle you have, sling it. If you haven't got a sling for it, get a sling on it, because that's the holster for the rifle. When you need your hands, you don't have to put it down. So make sure you get a sling for your rifle or shotgun if that's what you end up using. Blitz says the 12 gauge would be a great backup gun. Auto or pump, he says, would be great. Now, Defense Dad has a great question out there that I think we need to discuss this one. What if these zombies are really just caffeine deprived teachers? Has anyone tried giving them a nice cup of espresso?
Yeah, I can speak from personal experience that the caffeine does definitely tame the monster within from most of your school teachers. I think that's probably he's definitely onto something here, and I will happily accept a free cup of espresso anytime somebody wants to buy me one. So that's not
Richard wants to
warm
know,
bodies.
What do you mean zombies are an impossibility? Have you seen my ex-wife? No, but I've got 2 of them myself, and we're talking zombies, Richard. We're not talking about demons from hell. We're talking about zombies now. It's a whole different discussion. I'm gonna get some backlash. I'm assuming neither one of my ex-wives ever watches my stuff, but there are people that know people that know people that know them. So Defense Dad says he's having some caffeine in his rum and coke right now. So good for you, Defense Dad.
He's sitting there counting his shells if he's got to stock up more for the incoming zombie apocalypse.
Woods, also an educator, says that you're speaking facts, Travis.
I'm telling you.
Richard says give those teachers a pillow and a blanket. Yeah, and some donuts. Maybe they're just hangry.
I'm never going to turn down a free donut. I don't need no pillow and a blanket. What are you talking about, Willis?
Be brought back to so somebody said warm bodies. Now we need to address that movie.
They just want some love. It brings them right back.
Love may be the cure. If you've seen Warm Bodies, it's got Nicholas Hoult, who you might recognize from the newer X-Men movies, with the younger, the First Class era movies. He's the young Hank. What's Hank's last name? Beast. Anyway, I can't think of his last name, but he plays Beast. The young guy that's Nicholas Hoult, and then it's got I don't remember her name, but she's been in several good movies too. She's the human that gets, like, he saves her from the other zombies eating her, and then he kind of sticks her in the abandoned jet that he kind of lives in, and eventually she figures out that he's not going to hurt her, and he's going to take care of her, and he starts to develop feelings, and then his heart starts to pump again, and then he becomes unzombie, and then that starts to spread across back across the world with more love than the zombies.
Just all you need
they
is Love
reanimate.
Starts Playing, you know,
So
by the
this virus,
Beatles.
maybe, you know, if
Yeah.
it's not too late,
Yeah.
you may be able to overcome it. And then because it's like it literally it regenerated him and everything back to, you know, he wasn't still walking around with like, you know, half of his flesh gone or something, but he wasn't very far gone to begin with.
I'll put it this way. I do not want to be the first person to try to test that out.
You don't want to love on a zombie?
I'm not going to go up and give a zombie a hug and then have it bite me straight through the neck.
No.
Because Hollywood.
Yep, exactly. It's a wonderful message, but I don't think it's been tested. I don't think it's been lab tested yet. So yeah.
No.
Yeah, knives.
No.
Tonight's show has been brought to you by the Cranberries.
Zombie, zombie.
I should just record you doing that. Let's make that my theme.
Dude, heck yeah, I hit that high F, you know, and I can do that falsetto for you. That song was just on the radio the other day, so
it's on all the time. So was the
XM's.
Who remade it? Was that?
Oh, I don't even. It's been redone.
Five Finger Death Punch.
I think
so. No, that was Bad Wolves. Bad Wolves.
That's right, Bad Wolves.
Bad Wolves.
Yep. They were actually. I heard somewhere from somebody who's a fan of the Cranberries that they were supposed to record that with her, and like the date for recording was days after she passed away.
Yeah.
So I mean, she
2 days right before they
were scheduled to go into the studio with her and collaborate. But then they went ahead and recorded it without her. It was a tribute. So Richard says unfortunately that zombie is Ava Adams. He's not hugging it. All right. All right. So what else do we need to know about the zombies? So we've figured out that probably something centerfire. Even a pistol caliber carbine is probably going to get you the energy. So the other thing that you're going to need though is, I mean, you're either going to need a place to lay low. Pat's got a bunker, so he's covered, right? You're either going to have a place to hold up, or you're going to have to know somebody who's got one that you can either get in their good graces and be invited in, or you can siege the place and take it by force. Now, keep in mind that any place that you can take it by force in a siege may not be the most defensible place to begin with. So you may want to think ahead there and make a plan. Again, get your own bunker. Don't go to Pat's, because I'm pretty sure that once that door shuts, it don't open again. So
only if you know the secret password.
Blitz says if I wear the DJ stuff, I could fit right in with Michael Jackson zombies, but I might need to learn the dance. It's bold of you to assume that I have not already learned the dance.
Oh, there you go. It's just
I haven't, but it was still a bold assumption at the time. Woods is hitting the logging roads. You'll never find him. Falling trees behind him. Washington has a bad gun law, but a load of forests. So yeah, I mean, once the zombies break out, I don't think the laws really apply anymore.
Again, I'm just going to go up on top of a grain elevator, so that's it. I'm fine. So.
You know, I've never really thought about that one, and it seems
that's a heck of a defensive position, dude. Or a grain dryer, you know.
Oh, sure, but they don't explore this concept much in any of the shows, because
just go on the roof of your house. Just get a ladder.
No,
sit up there.
Not that. No, not your stronghold. I'm talking about the government. Because usually when you see a zombie show, it's already happened, right? Society's already collapsed. There is no government, but I'd like to see like something explored where, you know, the process of the government failing, you know, trying to legislate or not even necessarily legislate, but just, you know, it be the executive branch, you know, and just try to be like the city administrator, you know, just administrate the zombie outbreaks, or, you know, be the governor or something like that. Like what would you do?
If your infrastructure fails, no electricity, how do you communicate? If your batteries only last so long under walkie-talkies, it's just going to be and it's going to be a societal collapse within 3 days. I mean, that's because then people are going to start losing their crap, because you're going to have the initial phase of it's going to be awful. You're going to have people that'll pass away because they need medical care. You're going to have people that don't have their medicine. They won't make it past their prescriptions running out. You've got people that are immobile or can't get away. You've got, you know, after 3 or 4 days, people start knocking on the door because they're hungry and their kids want food, and you got
the roads will shut down. They'll get clogged up because people will abandon their vehicles, or they'll have traffic jams where they have to abandon their vehicles.
Yep.
because the road's blocked and impassable. So
all those in-town Generac owners are going to last about a week because people come knocking on their door because their lights are on. And
yeah, I mean,
I'm heading west.
We need to talk about a little bit about that infrastructure thing. So you're going to need to be mobile, right? At some point, you're going to want to move from point A to point B, and I don't know that on foot is going to be ideal.
No,
it may be necessary, but it's not ideal. So, what kind of vehicle? I mean, we need to look into like some sort of a Mad Max type vehicle, right?
The problem you're going to run into in Nebraska is we've got creeks you have to cross, and there's only so many bridges. And if there's people watching those bridges, man, I mean, good luck trying to find a way to get across some of these creeks or rivers. You're going to be screwed.
I mean, even if you get on you get on the highway, and there's cars just literally parked all across the highway.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to want something with some weight, like a deuce and a half or something like that, with some sort of like a V plow on it or something that's going to.
I was thinking a dirt bike, so you can go anywhere you need to, but you're going to be loud. You're going to have a noise signature. Anybody can hear you, but they're going to or a quad or something.
You're going to have to fly solo.
Yeah,
you can't build your own team from that. You can't, I mean, even what's the I can't stand the kid, the wimpy kid and Woody Harrelson teamed up, and then they found the girls and teamed up in Zombieland.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name anymore, but it doesn't matter. I can't stand him. He played Zuckerberg in the Facebook movie.
Yeah.
He's the new Lex Luthor, or he was until they fired all the DC people, and they're going to reboot it, I guess, again. But anyway, I mean, yeah, that's you're going to want some backup because when do you sleep, and how and where do you sleep? Do you climb a tree? Can zombies climb trees? Can zombie bears climb trees? Cocaine bears apparently can climb trees. So is climbing a tree going to be a safe thing to do? Can you sleep?
Well, luckily we don't have any bears in Nebraska yet, so we should be okay for a while. But
right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just a a regular snowplow truck wouldn't be bad. Throw a little sand in the box for some ballast a little bit and a little extra weight, but not full, so you could still put some people back there if you had to haul people around.
Here's the big question, John. Would like Nebraska small towns and Nebraska small town folk, would they band together and allocate the resources to defend themselves or not? Or would it be every person for themselves?
The only reason that Nebraskans are so friendly and generous with their gifts right now or what they have right now is because they know that it's replaceable.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was the same way back before COVID got stupid when I'd go to the range and I didn't have a problem blowing through 300 rounds of 9mm, and spending that $30 because I knew it was
fighting for it over in the aisles at Dollar Tree. I mean,
right.
So no matter if you're my neighbor or not, I need toilet paper and you can't have it. So, yeah.
Oh, Defense Dad he just broke the internet with this one.
The green elevator static. Yeah. Oh, never mind.
What really sucked? Zombie cats. They're already stealthy and attack out of nowhere in silence. Yeah, I never thought about that.
That's the real threat. You're gonna have at least a knife on you for that one or something.
You're gonna have to come up with like vampire hunting gear, like Kevlar wrap,
suits and stuff, and
cover your neck.
Cat scratch fever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the name of the movie right there. Cat scratch fever. The zombie feline apocalypse has happened.
Wow.
Can you imagine looking over the horizon?
And
a whole herd of cats coming right towards you. Zombie cat.
The clinical term for that, if you die from cat scratch fever, what happened to Pat? Oh, he went double live gonzo. Yeah,
that was good.
or we could also call it he did the Wango Tango. I don't know which. Which do you guys think? One of those two things. The zombie cats and poop in every pair of shoes you own. Yep. So hopefully you don't have any cuts on your feet because then you'll get the virus through there.
Man. Oh gosh. Yeah. No open sores.
Or throw up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like to do that too.
Yep.
So. Now the vehicles. Go ahead.
Everyone has what they have or what they're willing to take. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is I don't know that people are going to band together too much. Now you're going to have the people who are already.
You might have families and
already
maybe friends,
have each other's backs, right? But I mean, you're going to have a serious buddy check going on where it's just like anything else. You'll find out who your friends are,
Mhm. Yep.
right? So Clint says cover your sleeves with duct tape. It's hard to bite through. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. On the vehicle front, I would actually, I have many ATVs with trailers that could definitely throw the kids in and some gear and some extra fuel and be able to hit the road, especially since
Okay,
me and my
now
wife
riddle
and
me
a
this
bunch of other
one,
friends do have
Batman.
that. Okay.
Let's say
Sure.
that you've got your trailer hitched up to your ATV, and there's a crowd of zombies coming in to your place. You throw the kids in the trailer, and the only direction you can go is out across a cornfield.
Ooh, that's gonna be rough.
How fast can you go across that cornfield without throwing the kids out of that trailer and breaking the hitch pin on it?
Actually, pretty fast because nobody around here does the hilling or cultivating in their fields. So actually, it's fairly smooth now. Nobody does any pipe irrigation around here. So actually, it's not, if that would have been 20 years ago, oh, hell no, you're not doing that. But
You have trouble walking through
nowadays,
it, much less driving over it.
it's yeah, exactly. You'd
Yeah.
have to go with the row and not against the row.
I mean,
for sure.
all I'm saying is there's something to be said for planting, oats or wheat or alfalfa, something that you drill in that, it's a lot smoother ground that way. So you might want to switch to rye. I'm just saying. Plus you can brew your
Yeah.
own beer, so it's win-win.
Yep, there you go. But no, that'd be one of the options for sure, especially around here.
Actually, a Canadian tuxedo covered with duct tape would be a really good protection. I don't have that much denim, but I'm going to have to come up with a denim shirt and a denim jacket, and then I can wear the old Canadian tuxedo.
And don't skimp out. Do not go with duct tape. Go with Gorilla Tape.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Regular duct tape sucks. You want the
Yeah,
good
that's
stuff.
true.
Gorilla Tape.
Yep. Yeah, definitely can't argue with that. Wood says everyone on his zombie team is named Woods. Well,
Woods.
that makes sense.
That's awesome.
Okay, so there was one comment that Michael had made here a long time ago, and I flagged it so I could pull this up later. So let's talk about moving away from firearms, and let's go with the edged weapons, or even the blunt weapons. This would still apply? Can we talk about the machete or sword trope in all the zombie movies? Oh, there's this ultra dangerous virus spread through fluid or blood contact. Let's carry around this sharp biohazard that'll kill me if I accidentally nick myself.
I always thought about that because, like, you can't get bit, but you can get the blood all over you if you stab them and it gets all over you. It's like, how do you not
or
absorb
what
that?
if you're driving
Is our
with the
skin not
windows
porous
down and
anymore?
you hit them with the
Yeah.
car and they splatter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
I
You're
don't
not
know.
going to take any of that in any of your worst bit.
Oh, my mouth was open and everything.
Yeah.
Right,
No.
because in 27 days later, to go back to a movie real quick,
I think it was-
one of the characters died by looking up, and a raven that had pecked on a dead walking zombie dropped right into his eye, got into the ocular fluid, and transmitted into his brain.
Yep.
So it could be through the eye, into your mouth, ear. It doesn't matter. If
Yep.
it gets into your system,
Yep. That was 28 days
season.
later.
Pretty
Yeah,
much going to need a
28 days
hazmat suit then, huh?
yeah.
Then they had another one
Walking
that was
around like
28
Darth
weeks
Vader.
later that I never watched that one. But
Yeah.
Richard says blunt, nothing sharp or pointed that could get stuck in the skull. Yeah, but you're still going to make a mess. If you bludgeon a zombie, it's still going to get zombie brain matter or whatever fluids all over your club, whatever maglite, whatever you got for a blunt object. So, I mean, you're still walking around with basically a poison dart, right? I mean, even if it's not sharp, you've got this poisonous club now. So
Yeah, the spear is a good one. It's look at Woods' comment. The cold steel bush spear.
not
I
on a
would get
shovel
the-
handle.
Yeah.
I need to get on Woods' Christmas list. Is what.
So
it
what
sounds like.
they use, I think in
Right.
what was it called? What was the zombie book again called? I'm totally drawing a blank here. Help me out here.
World War Z.
World War Z. Yeah, don't they mention that they have a spear that has the hook, that has like a U shape on one side and then a spear end on the other, and two people. One could push the person back away, like on their neck, it pushes them back, and the other guy takes them out with the spear part. So that's how that was a little tool that was very popular to use because it was easy to manufacture and it gave you that space you needed so the other person could take them out. Or you could at least hold them off long enough to push them to run. So
what if you're alone?
What if you're what?
What if you're alone?
Well, no, then you could push them back with the neck and then flip the spear around and take them out if you had to. Like you could use the U-shaped part as a way to push them back, basically to keep them away from you. But a spear would be a good idea. Yeah. A spear would work. It would definitely work. Yeah.
Quint says a gladius is fabulous. So
let's watch out for that mess. Watch out for the fluid transfers.
The gladius might be.
Maybe it's a zombie survival guide that I read. That might have been it too. I think I have a copy of that.
Is the Roman gladius going to be like too close quarters? I mean, if I'm down to a sword, I want something with some length on it. You know, I want to be able to reach out and touch someone and stay out of the splatter area.
Yeah, you definitely want some standoff.
What's the gladius? About 2.5 feet long, something like that. I mean, they're shorter than a yardstick. Speaking of which, I don't know if anybody's heard, but they are not making 36-inch yardsticks any longer. So, okay, y'all will get that one later.
Why? What happened with yardsticks?
They're not making 36-inch yardsticks any longer.
They quit making sticks that measure 36 inches.
They need to stay at 36 inches.
Yeah.
What?
They're not making them any shorter either. They're staying right at 36.
Well, they shouldn't. They should be at 36 inches, which is 1 yard. That would only make sense. So.
Oh, yeah. If anybody else got messed with as much as Travis did there, I no apologies.
I'm just tired, man. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. So me thinking logically just doesn't happen.
Gun comment, which I did not
put up here. And me both.
I both want to know and I don't want to know why you know this, Defense Dad. If you use black powder instead of ether in a potato gun, it'll go through a garage wall. So
wouldn't it blow up the tube if it had black powder in it? Wouldn't it rupture the PVC? You think that thing would just go up on you?
Not if it's not made of PVC.
Are most of the potato guns made out of PVC pipe?
Well, yeah, because they're cheap. But I mean, you could find something else. You know, you could find some old
irrigation tube. Yeah,
like
Aquanet. Right, aerosol Aquanet works fantastic.
You know, it's some old galvanized sewer line would work. You know, that'd be pretty strong, I would think. So, yeah, there's things that you can do. He knows because college and alcohol, which isn't that kind of the same thing. But Richard wants to know the most plausible zombie movie you've seen. Now, I have not seen a lot of the zombie movies just because I don't know, just because I don't really have a reason for it, which is why I wanted to have a couple people as panelists that, you know, have seen more of the shows than I have. I guess I've seen several, but I don't know. The most plausible, I'm going to go back to Resident Evil just because it's actually a lab created virus that I know that it's impossible for a virus that's created in a lab or gain a function in a lab to ever escape that lab. That would never happen, YouTube, and please don't take the channel down. This is all fictional, just hypothetical in Hollywood movie land that happened in the movie Resident Evil, and it's never happened in Wuhan, in China, in real life ever. Okay, but I don't know. I don't know if YouTube takes you down anymore for saying that, but they used to. They literally Sarah Gonzalez got the whole Blaze YouTube channel a strike for saying that on the air. So then they cut the COVID parts out on the YouTube version of the show for a long time.
Which is funny because they talk about that topic so often on all those shows. You know.
Well, now it's not. Again, now that they've said it on the news, it's okay to say it everywhere. That it may be just
the news normalizes that it's acceptable.
Viruses can leak from a lab. You know.
Yeah.
Just maybe. Richard says The Crazies. I remember watching it, but I don't remember much about the movie, and I don't remember if they ever explained what caused it on that show. It was just kind of a weird show, and I kept waiting for it to get good, and then they rolled credits. So was not a big fan of it. Knives says use Ebola, which could work. In The Last of Us, it was a fungus, not a virus. So maybe, I don't know, a flamethrower and a cuck. Again, that kukri or kukri or whatever it's supposed to, I don't know how you pronounce it, but those aren't very long. You know, I mean, that's in the way that it's bent. your reach is even less than a machete. So I don't know about that one. Oh, it was a virus made by the U.S. Okay, in that movie, YouTube. So yeah, I don't know. I something like that I suppose would be the most plausible. The only other thing that I think is plausible is some sort of alien DNA survives on a meteorite and then converts people into flesh-eating monsters. I could see that being a real life thing too, possibly. I don't know. I'm just grasping at some straws here.
Yeah, most of them have to do with some sort of virus that just evolves and happens, which could happen. I mean, it you don't know where evolution is going to take things and what's going to pop up and what's going to come out of somewhere that we don't even know. And
I think it's more plausible that the apes will actually develop the ability to reason and speak and take over the planet before there's a flesh-eating zombie outbreak on the planet. But you know, I mean, it's again,
yeah,
the whole premise is that, you know, dead flesh, there's no cellular activity, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the reanimation of that. So the virus thing, yeah, that's totally plausible. But how is a virus going to reanimate dead flesh in the beginning? I mean,
they mentioned in World War Z, like the neurological part behind it, how it could be plausible, how it could happen, like what parts of the
'cause-
body it
yeah,
affects.
because
We
there's
can't
no
see
way to
necessarily.
restart the electrical generator in the brain
Yeah,
once it's deteriorated, right? Because
yeah.
the brain can only survive what average of 6 minutes without oxygen before you're going to be brain dead. If you get resuscitated after 6 minutes, you're
It would have to be something that makes living people go into some sort of like rabid state, essentially, that destroys some part of their ability to control themselves. You know.
now. Here's another thing that let's talk about: the plausibility of a bite or a scratch will not instantly, but will be enough to infect you. Because again, now we're talking about something that takes dead flesh and reanimates it. So the people that get overrun by the horde and, you know, eaten to death, right? I could see them. I mean, this could go one of two ways. I mean, if it's like a school of piranha, there's nothing left. You
Mhm.
know, the zombies pick that thing clean. There's nothing but bones. The other option is, you know, they don't pick it clean just because of some instinct to, you know, further the species or whatever, and they leave enough to be reanimated, and then the thing kicks in after the cells all die. So
But then remember, in The Walking Dead, everybody eventually is infected, and everybody that passes away, even through natural causes, will reanimate as a zombie.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my thought is, you know, if this thing works on dead flesh, it may not. I mean, your a bite may not be, you know, damning is what I'm saying. Like you may be able just to treat that knowing full well that when you die, yeah, you're going to come back, but until you die, you're good to go, right? And I think it would be like having HIV where you still have to take precautions with your own blood because that's in there now. But, you know, other than that, I mean, you could finish out your life. Just have a plan, you know, you'd have to have a death plan. Like once I die, I need somebody to, you know, sever my head or smash my brain or whatever. You know, you'd have to have
Yeah. Yeah.
some sort of
Right,
an advanced directive.
Ice pick through the ear like they did in The Walking Dead, and just scramble the brain just a little bit just to kill the neurological. Just to
So
silence it.
so let's put our tinfoil hats on for a second. Wood says we're all safe because it's going to be in Bud Light, which nobody's drinking. What if Bud Light is the only beer that it's not in? And this was all a ploy to get people to boycott the Bud Light because Anheuser-Busch refused to put it in there.
So
And
the only people that survive are the ones that are patrons of Bud Light, essentially,
like
which would
only, yeah, so
yeah.
only the trans people are gonna live. Wow, okay.
I mean, that's the ultimate tinfoil hat theory right there. You know, I mean,
Zombie chat's going downhill quick. So
That
all
plane
right,
crashed
you
into
know
the
what?
water.
We're not gonna get a super long episode out of this. I think we've kind of beat this pony to
I mean,
death.
it's unrealistic to think that anybody would ever release any kind of a virus that could possibly be
Yeah,
used as a means to control
No.
individuals and
on
destroy an
purpose or
economy.
No.
You
or
know,
even
I
by
mean,
accident, you know,
it just
to take down
nobody would
society.
in their right mind would do something like that. Nobody would ever do that.
You know, I mean, even if
How
it
dare
would
you.
eventually lead
No.
to, you know,
No.
the ultimate do-over. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, still we can't believe in that. That's a very tinfoil hat thing. So So, all right, I think we're going to start wrapping things up. So I did tell everybody, if you stick around until the end of the show, I would give you the ultimate truth nugget.
Here we go.
So here it comes, guys, because I was thinking about this the other day, and that's how I decided on the topic for the show, because we're driving down the road, and what do? I bounce my stupid ideas off of Sandhill's sweetheart, who is very gracious and just sits there and listens and nods and doesn't tell me that I'm an idiot. So I appreciate that. That's one of the many
Always the virtues of a good wife right there, man.
Why I married her,
there.
right?
Yep.
So the
Totally
thought
agree.
that I had is, all right, so eventually these things, once you become a zombie, okay, corpse gets reanimated, whatever, we'll figure the science out on that later. But they don't stop rotting. And at some point that flesh is going to completely deteriorate, right? The brain cells are going to deteriorate, the muscle cells are going to deteriorate, and there's not going to be anything left. It's still going to decompose. And I don't know how long it takes a body to decompose, average, but I mean, even without scavengers, I mean, a dead deer alongside the road, it goes pretty quick just from normal microbes and things like that, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
And the flies are going to be chewing on these zombies. I mean, that's kind of been a thing always in every show. So even if the crows and the coyotes and the vultures stay away, there's a finite amount of time that these things are going to be viable, right? So
Yep.
And again, now in the tropics, the warmer climates where it never gets cold, those bodies are going to decompose fastest, right? I mean, the jungle is pretty good about reclaiming its own very quickly. So the zombies won't last there super long. The worst case scenario is that the eventually this thing makes its way up to the up and down, north and south, all the way to as far as the poles. Now the people in Antarctica may be the only ones who can ultimately survive the outbreak, but they can't survive there forever. And typically they don't keep an airplane on the continent of Antarctica full time, right? I mean, they fly supplies in and out, they fly scientists in and out. Nobody permanently lives there. But I mean, this, as soon as the plane comes in, then it's gotta go again. I mean, it's gonna ice over before too long, right? So they've got to keep the thing warm and keep it moving. So those people that are stranded there, eventually they just freeze to death. So but I mean, they stay pretty safe unless we get zombie penguins. Otherwise we will be okay here. But the rest of the continents, it's going to make its way. It's going to work through the world. The further north people go, that it's going to take longer for those zombies to deteriorate. But eventually, they'll move south towards where people are, because there just aren't as many people at the poles, right? And so, I mean, the laws of nature, I think, take over. And eventually it runs its course, and the zombies all deteriorate to the point where they're not zombies anymore. So here's the truth nugget: is ultimately, to survive a zombie outbreak, you just have to have enough supplies in your bunker. What are we figuring to get all the way across the world? 2 to 5 years? I mean, honestly, if you've got 5 years worth of supplies, if you've got like some way to water purification system that you can reclaim water somehow or whatever, and you've got food and good ventilation, that's zombie proof, you're going to be okay. I mean, it seems like at the end of 5 years, it would be safe to venture back out, because at that rate, there may still be a few running around, but not near as many, right? So I would save the ammo. I would just hunker down. What is I would shelter in place, I think is the correct term. We'll circle back to that, but.
So what you're saying, John, is I need to get myself a bunker. The problem is you got to have a bunker someplace where somebody can't find it, and that's going to be hard to do if just
that
some
doesn't
random
matter.
group walking
not if
across.
it's reinforced.
Huh?
It doesn't matter if they can find it, as long as they can't get in. But again, your ventilation system's got to be foolproof
in a way that somebody can't find it, or
right. So that's going to be the biggest thing. You're going to want, again, some sort of a generator. You're going to want fuel tanks to run the generator for 5 years. You're going to want a security system that you can see the closed circuit cameras.
Check.
Dude, I wouldn't admit to that. I'm just saying. I know which 3 counties to start looking. We'll just do it by grid. We'll find you.
Well, no, see, I have a certain amount of people that I would let in, and
Oh, okay.
the two people on this panel would be let in because I know they bring something to the table.
Oh,
Oh,
that's true.
absolutely. Thousands and
true.
thousands of rounds of
Oh.
5.56, Pat. And I'll clean your guns for free. So, just saying.
I'll
Somebody's
even
got to
stock
maintain
up
that
on-
inventory. Somebody's got to
Hey,
maintain
hey.
it.
I'll stock up on
All
some
right,
extra
John.
hoppies and
All right,
ballast.
John, what you got? All right, John, what you got? What you
Well,
got?
I'm going to bring hoppies
All
and
right, all right,
ballast and CLP for Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to bring my wife, and she makes every situation better, just by being around.
Entertainment for your wife, Pat. So,
Right. Yeah.
There
The
you go.
ladies can
That's
hang
priceless
out
right there,
together
bro.
and they'll have female conversation. They can complain about us to each other and stuff. So we've got
farming skills, harvesting of critter skills, right?
But we're
Yeah.
we're hunkered down. I mean, the harvesting of the critters needs to happen now, right? And put them in, get stuff in the freezer now. You need 5 years worth
Yeah.
of freeze dried or some
Cans,
sort of,
jars, bottles, or freeze dried.
yeah,
I got 4.
yeah. How many head of cows do you have? Because I mean, canned beef is amazing, and it'll go
Yes, it
along.
is.
It'll keep a long time.
Yes, it will.
So,
I've had it up to 8 years, and still good.
it's just as good as the day it went in the jar.
Yes,
Speaking of
sir.
which, if anybody has honest to goodness real canned beef, reach out to me because I will buy some from you. I really want some.
Look at Sergeant Joe Smith's comment. That's a good one. Man. Look at that one.
Which one? The bunker?
Yeah, there you
The
go.
bunker safe will never be found. It's hidden behind a sign that says Joe's Mower Shop and a bunch of lawnmowers and job applications. Oh, that's awesome. Krabby says I can find it. He must want a job.
Or he knows Joe, one of the two. So, yep.
Wood says up there in the Northwest, the winters are not that bad. Rarely lower than 20 degrees. So, I mean, yeah, it's again,
that would be the hard part, would be making it through the wintertime. I mean, now granted, we know how to make sod houses because we were taught how to do that in grade school, us Nebraskans, but that's not much of a defense against a zombie horde coming your way.
I don't know. We're starting to get some joiners now. Defense Dad.
Yeah, he's in on this one too. Actually, Defense Dad, I'd probably carpool with him because he's got a much bigger vehicle than me. So we'll just load up his trunk with everything, and I'll run shotgun. Literally, his daughter will be outfitted with something fairly accurate because she's a crack shot too. So, yep.
There you go. Right, exactly.
Yep.
Vash says,
Yep.
Vash, honestly, do you have canned beef, like actual canned beef in a jar? Not like some commercial product. I'm talking about homemade roast beef stuck in a jar, and it looks like it looks terrible because all the fat's sitting on the top. And if that's what you have, email me, please, Vash. We'll figure it out. I think it's that hard to find. No,
Think
I'm
about the
talking about
bargaining
stuff-
price of a can
It's
of
hard to
sealed
find because
beef.
nobody's doing it anymore. It's just like canned anything. Very few people are canning anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not talking about something that you can buy in a
Yeah.
store that's got a barcode on it. I'm talking about the real stuff. So,
Yep.
All right. So there's the truth nugget, guys, is if you can lay low, if you can just stay away
Ride it
from the zombies for, I'm going to say 2 to 5 years, far outside worst case scenario, 10 years, it's a thing of the past. It's over. And the ultimate do-over has finally taken place. And it's been, the world is back to, maybe that's going to be instead of a flood, maybe it'll be zombies. Maybe that'll be the next thing that takes out all of humanity because of the wickedness. Who knows? Hey, we've got Scott out there. Says he's kind of Scott. You're kind of like a blister now that all the hard work's done. You finally showed up. So, what tiniest in ramen? I'm not sure. What's tiniest? Is that a typo? What are you talking about? Ramen will definitely last 5 years. That's true. You're just gonna have to have some good water and if you get ramen, get the good stuff with the pancakes in it. So
you got to get that, man. The breakfast ramen. I'm telling you,
watch that, and I tell you what, I am equal
fascinated,
equal parts intrigued, fascinated, and leery.
It's weird, John. It's like it's the pasta for breakfast part I can't quite get used to. It's the flavor's fine. We know the flavor.
Oh, heck,
sausage, egg, and cheese, and pancake syrup. We know that, but pasta for breakfast is just the weirdest, just texture. I don't know what it is because you don't usually do breakfast pasta.
Twinkies
So-
and ramen. Yes. If you stock up on Twinkies,
Oh,
then
yeah.
Woody Harrelson is going to show up, though. So, which isn't all bad. I mean, I think he'd be a pretty entertaining dude to hang out with.
Oh, absolutely.
Plus, he knows how to survive the Hunger Games and the zombie outbreak. So, I mean, he knows a thing or two,
Mhm.
and he can tend bar. Let's not forget, he was a
So, there you go.
bartender for a lot of
Yep.
years. You know, even if he can't jump because he's white, we won't hold that against him. So, just don't let him make any proposals.
And he can drive the heck out of a Suburban.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Pretty
All
decent
right,
wheelman.
so we're gonna wrap this up and call it a night. And we will. Oh, he buys it. No. I'm talking about real. If anybody actually cans on the top of your stove, let me know because I'll work something out with you. All right, spam cans of ammo. That's good. I like that. All right, so let's give everybody a chance here to wrap up and do any shameless plugs you want to plug, or even shameful ones. I don't care. Then we'll do the list and we'll get everybody out of here tonight. So, Pat, we'll let you start off with anything you want to say that you didn't get a chance to say.
I just have one little rebuttal to your 2 to 5 year.
Yeah.
I think probably in one season, it will probably be over in one actual spring, summer, fall, and everything, because man, that is a lot for zombies to go through, especially if
But
you have
you
a hard
gotta-
if you have a hard winter and you have really high heat. Now, in
But
the
I
more
think you gotta
moderate
take
temps,
into account logistics.
right? True.
It's going to take
but-
a while to get through Central Africa. It's going to take a while to get through the Australian outback, Siberia. I mean, some of these places are just hard to reach, so it'll take a while first.
Right,
But
but
that's where the
especially
survivors
with-
are going to end up living, coming from.
Right, but with transit, I would guess probably in that outbreak, it would probably the transit, especially over ocean, your airliners and stuff like that, would probably be shut down pretty dang quick, and all that infrastructure would be gone. So that would probably stop anything from being transmitted from side to side if they could get it shut down quick enough. If it came from one continent. Now, if it was a worldwide deal where it just outbroke like that all over all the continents, then everybody's screwed. So it all depends. There's a lot of different scenarios. We could argue this to here to next Sunday, but anyway, I think through one season, maybe just something off the top of my head, maybe it would be over after one season.
I'm saying
Maybe.
it would just be safe to figure 2 to 5 years. So, Defense Dad says you could farm with them. You could actually just hook them up to the front of the combine when you're out of fuel and let them pull it. So
I do still have some old horse-drawn stuff that I
There
could
you go.
definitely do some harvesting, and I get some actual good work out of them. Just
Can you
like
stack some hay with it?
Shaun of the Dead. Yep, Shaun of the Dead. Put them to work.
there you go.
Thank
Pretty
you.
cool.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, everybody can see my stuff over at YouTube at Pat in a Bunker, and this was definitely fun. Just something to get our minds off of everything else that's happening in the world, and just have some fun. Just be able to play around a little bit. So thanks for having me on tonight, John.
Thanks for coming and hanging out. And Joe Smith, to answer your question over there, it's my show. Pat's restreaming it over on his channel, so that's why you're watching on Pat. But it's still the Get Off My Lawn podcast. All right, Travis. Final thoughts for you and shameless plugs. And I know that you better at least talk about Thunder on the Prairie again a little bit.
Yeah, I will. I'll try not to take up too much time, but so great episode, fun chat tonight. Kind of really getting into everything from the human psychology to which sidearm would you take to what caliber would you carry. Always fun to play around with these topics, And again, from a self kind of preparation standpoint, it kind of gets you in a frame of thinking, okay, if something bad happens and it's just me versus the world, am I prepared for that? Am I ready for it? Always a good discussion. As for me, shameless plugs, check out my channel, Travis P11. Just posted a new video today. Had a good time out at the range last weekend and got that posted. Otherwise, with Thunder on the Prairie, I've got a video of it on my channel. If you just type in Thunder on the Prairie 2023, it should take you to my YouTube channel. We did it as a live stream, and then I re-downloaded it and reloaded it as a regular video. So it gets kind of pushed through different channels. And basically, it's going to be a little gathering of YouTubers or Pro 2A folks in Nebraska, first weekend in June, over at Nebraska Shooters in Firth, Nebraska. If you go to nebraskashooters.com, you can look it up on the calendar and register for it if you want to. It's $25 each day. Day one's going to be a shooting competition for the first half of the day, and then the second half of the day is open range time. Bring and shoot whatever you want. And then day two is going to be time for YouTubers, gun tubers to have time to film on the range safely, to have an opportunity to film and have a lot of fun. We're going to have drawings. We've got a lot of sponsors on board. I mentioned them several times. Going to have a good meal Friday night and or Saturday. And yeah, it should be a fun time. So hopefully you get a lot of people signed up for it. I think we are running out of time here because I got to talk to Defense Stat about this, but I think that VersaCarry was going to supply holsters again to those that sign up by a certain date. And so we're going to have to know, and we're not trying to rush people into signing up, but you sign up by a certain date, then we'll be able to communicate with you and then find out what holster you want from VersaCarry. And so hopefully that's still going to happen. I could be wrong about that, but I believe so. That's what we did last year. And it worked out well for people that got one. And otherwise, lots of good stuff to give away. It's going to be fun. Meat Ammo's on board, supplying ammunition for us for the event. And it should be a good time. So that's first weekend in June. So if you want to go, or if you're just interested, or you want to start a gun channel on YouTube, just come to the event, hang out, see how everything works. We're not there to sign you up for anything or sell you on anything. There you go.
Nice.
We're just there to get people together to just kind of hang out and have a good time. It's just a bunch of friends getting together once a year, like a family reunion, and just making it happen. So
if people don't get registered, can they just show up the day of and they just won't get any of the freebies? Or
yeah, if
is it
there
like
are
an
spots
invitation
available,
only,
if we
like-
have enough spaces available, if they look on there and it says one, I would assume they would just have to fill out the paperwork and pay at that time, as long as there's spots available, because we're limited at, I think, 50 that
Okay.
sign up for it. There's Pat's got his holster
So,
right there.
so if you can't
Yeah.
get registered, then you can't go. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think if you showed up the day of and there were spots available the night before, but you couldn't register online for whatever reason,
let's say that it's all
yeah.
filled up.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, I don't care about the VersaCarry holsters. I just want to go and hang out and meet people and have fun. Can people just
It's gonna
show
be-
up,
it's
or
gonna
is
be a
there not
private
going to be
event.
room enough?
No, it'll be a private event because we have to have so
Okay.
many RSOs there because of the numbers of people that'll be there
Okay,
present.
there you
If we exceed a certain amount, we're going past what's allowed on the range at one
So
time.
if you want to go, you've got to
Yes.
get registered
Yes.
before it's too late.
Yep.
Because space is at a limit.
And we have
Well,
the
there is
bunkhouse
a limit
available.
there.
If you don't want to mess with a hotel or find your own accommodations, there's a bunkhouse available. It's free will donation. There's 3 beds left for that. If you want to get yourself one of the rooms, and they've got a full kitchen, bathroom, showers, everything you need to stay on site if you want to. Friday night, they're doing a Friday night fun shoot for free. If anybody wants to go down and shoot, they can. That's something they offer to the public, which is different. And then Saturday morning is when we kick off with our events and we do our stuff. So
Sweet.
it's going to be a lot of fun. Yep.
Very cool. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Just to ask a quick question, Travis here. What time does the fun shoot start on Friday?
Defense Stat will have to answer that. I want to say, doesn't it start at 6 or 7? It goes from like 7 to 9 or 6 to 9 or something like that.
Okay.
Defense Stat knows.
Because-
He'll tell us that here in just a sec. So those are going to be in the evening, usually after 5 o'clock, I think is when it kicks off, and it just goes for a couple
Okay,
hours.
because
Yeah.
I might actually be there in time on Friday to actually join in on the fun shoot. on
Okay. Yeah.
Friday
6
night,
p.m.
is
he
kind
does
of my
it.
plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I might actually be there in time to join in with. And
Look at Woods.
shoot
Next
with
year, have it
everybody.
after June 15th. Come on, the last week of school, help a teacher. Hey, I'm doing it like 5 days after I
They-
get out of school myself. Bro.
Woods, they don't get to pick the date. Okay. Justin at Nebraska Shooters says this weekend is open. And if it wasn't for Thunder on the Prairie, he'd book some national instructor to come in.
Or he says, we talked to Masad Ayub. He said it's cool. He'd come a week later. You guys can do your thing.
so,
It's like, hey,
yeah, I mean,
let Masad know that's cool with us.
What's happening
all right?
is because of Thunder on the Prairie, Justin carved out a weekend where he's not making money off of getting Ed Monk or Norm Hood or anybody like that, Chuck Haggard to come in and teach classes. So we're Travis and Defense Stat are very much dependent on Nebraska Shooters' schedule. They can't just pick their weekend because Justin's got these people lined up, a year or more in
If
advance.
we did change it,
come
we'd
in
have to
and
change
teach.
it a year in advance. But we just
Right.
try to do the first week in June before people start traveling for vacation and stuff.
He's just jealous. He
I
wishes
know.
he
I
could
know.
come. You know what? I tell you what we'll do. Woods, you make the trip to Nebraska, and we'll figure out just a chance for a bunch of us to get together and hang out anyway.
There you
as
go,
long as
man.
we've got enough notice ahead of
Yep.
time to do it. So,
That's right.
Scott
Mickey
says-
casserole and everything.
Firth is just up the road from where he is. So Scott,
There you
we
go.
expect you to be there. Go get registered and go hang out, or at the very least, go meet Pat on Friday night. All right. I don't really have a whole lot of closing thoughts here. You guys have heard my thoughts already. So let's do the list. Again, out there on the Facebook side, we had Scott, we had Michael, we had somebody that I don't remember the name. I've never seen that person on the show before. Let me scroll up here and try to find Jack Neat. I don't know if you're new to the show or not, but I think you're new to commenting because I don't remember seeing your name come through before. So that was over on the Facebook side. On the Rumble side, we had Jeff. And thank goodness for Jeff, because otherwise there'd have been no comments coming through. So thanks, Jeff. That's awesome. All right, over on the YouTube side, again, if you don't get your name read off, it's because you weren't commenting. So Omaha, I know you're out there and you don't comment. We've established that, but the rest of you don't have an excuse, or if you do have an excuse, I won't accept it. Kingpin was out there, G-Webs, Blitz, Patriot in the Dark Woods, Jamie Brown, Keith Umstead, Mr. Knives, Krabby Turtle, Scott79, Defense Dad, Clint Taurus. I have to say it slow so I don't get a strike. Vash Matrix, and again, there were several of you over there on Pat's feed that Sandhill Sweetheart didn't get to see your names because I haven't gotten her spun up as an admin of the StreamYard software yet. As soon as she logs in as an admin, then she can see all these other comments coming through here too that I can see, and she can be in control of putting the stuff up on the screen, or she could be in control of making somebody solo when you're talking, because I never think to do that because I'm in the conversation, so I don't get to just sit back and run the software. So maybe eventually I'll get her convinced to take on a few extra responsibilities here on the software, but in the meantime, that's how it is for now. So she didn't get to see all you fellas over there on Pat's feed, but thank you, all of you over there, for being there as well. So I do want to mention, if you are looking for your Nebraska concealed handgun permit class, we do have several of those scheduled throughout the summer into the fall here in Norfolk, Nebraska. So if you're within driving distance, go to sandhillsdefense.com and sign up for those. Let's put that back up on the screen for you so you've got it there. We've got one coming up the 6th of May. June is not going to work. And then we've got the first weekends in July, August, and October as well. So class on Saturday, shoot on Sunday. And I know that we are pushing hard for permitless carry. I myself am pushing just as hard as anybody to not require that permit and not require this class. However, if you don't take the class, you're not going to know the things you need to know to stay out of legal trouble if you do decide to carry, if we get this law passed. So we will still offer that in the side benefit. You get the reciprocity of the non-permitless carry states that still honor our permit, and you also get to use that permit as your handgun purchase certificate. So, and it's good for 5 years instead of 3. So there's some benefits to doing it. The biggest thing is you get not the training as far as the firearms end of it, the training as far as the knowledge end of it that you need. But if LB 77 passes, I will also offer a different kind of class that cuts out all the stuff that's I don't think necessary that the state requires me to teach in the CHP class, and I do, but a lot of that is kind of review. So we'll cut that down and make it just the essentials, and make it just like a constitutional carry class is what I'll call it. So you still get the state laws, you still get all that stuff, the use of force, and that stuff. But then we'll skip over the, here's what a safe looks like. Here's, you should clean the gun. This is a cartridge. There's a bullet in a case and all that. We can cut all that out and get people home a lot sooner. And there won't be live fire qualification for it. It'll just be the knowledge stuff in the classroom, and that's it, one and done. So I'll be building those classes out. I think I might anyway, just as a refresher for people that have their CHP. So it might not be a bad idea. But again, the instructors who are scared of this, they're one-trick ponies apparently. And if you take the one trick away, then they don't have anything else. If you're good at what you do, then you can work with it, not against it. So go to sandhillsdefense.com, click on the button for classes that we offer and go register for your CHP class. We also have our women's handgun and self-defense fundamentals classes scheduled. The first go around, the class 1 of the 3 is already filled, but we're starting another go around in July. And that's open yet. People can sign up there. If they are women that want to learn in a class full of just other women, and I'll be the only non-woman there, because a lot of ladies don't want to go to a class where there's guys if they're learning, if they're beginners, because they don't want, they feel self-conscious where they don't have that happen when they're in a class full of women. So we recognize that, and we offer stuff for that too. So I don't have a concealed potato gun class, but there's no reason to not at least look into it. So we'll see what we can do, Defense Dad. Other than that, I think it's time to end this broadcast. So we're all zombied out. You know what you need to do if it actually does happen is just hunker down. Pat thinks for 1 season. I'm going to say it's going to take a couple years at least, maybe up to 5 years to get all the way through the planet. Now that doesn't mean that you can't venture out. After the first several months, that's going to be the hottest time, right? Like any other epidemic, it's going to peter out and slow down, just like other epidemics or pandemics may or may not have kind of petered out and slowed down across the planet that we've ever seen. Not that I will mention anything, but in the meantime, you know what? It's a fun topic to just think about. What if? Take our mind off of all the real craziness. Honestly, some of the crap that's happening right now is even more crazy than the thought of a zombie outbreak, which is weird to say that, but everybody's nodding along, and I'm sure you guys are at home too. So thanks everybody for being here. M. Gabriel is hopped in. You're late again. Just another blister shows up when the work's over. So yep, you'll have to back up and catch it, because there's some good stuff in this episode, if I say so myself. Yep. So on behalf of Pat and Travis and Sandhills Sweetheart and all of our menagerie of aminals here in our house, and Ammo Dog and all of the Bunker family, not Archie's, Pat's, Pat Bunker.
Nice,
right?
Nice.
all of Pat Bunker's family, the lesser known Bunker brother. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. We love you. Catch us next week. I don't think it'll be next week, but pretty soon we're gonna have to do this again, but with vampires. Because I do know a little bit about those, so we're gonna dig in. We're gonna skip werewolves because honestly, it's just a big hairy dog. That won't take long.
Yeah, but Yankee Marshall's already covered that.
Yeah, silver bullets.
It's
fine. One and done.
One and done.
Yeah. Right. So that one's already over with. But we'll talk vampires probably not next week. I don't know what we're gonna talk about next week, but don't miss it. We go live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time, which is of course the only time zone that matters. Anybody who says otherwise apparently lives in a different one. So that's it. We're gonna go. Have a great night. We love you guys. God bless you. But get off